Happy Thursday to you. I can't believe we're already getting to the end of the week. These weeks just keep on flying by. After all, we are all sheltering at home, and so this is the new normal. Let's start off and just talk about the stock market today. Lots of activity, lots of news to update you on today because first off, the Dow closed down 135 points and the NASDAQ joined down also 76 points. But that isn't everything. There's so much more that's unveiled and we're talking about today. Let's start with what pulled the market down. Certainly a lot of disappointments in the realm of tech. We saw Facebook disappointment, Amazon disappointment, and Netflix, believe it or not, were a little disappointing in terms of earnings. And so you saw a little bit of weakness there, which is very surprising given that so many of us are sheltering in place, but they were looking for more subscribers. Numbers, unfortunately, missed it just by a tad. So disappointment in Microsoft and Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Netflix. In addition, unemployment numbers came out today. Over 1.3 million Americans, again, filed for unemployment, which was, again, disappointing news. Certainly, we're hoping for better numbers, but given all the things that we've been hearing with the travel industry, American Airlines just announced more layoffs today. United, Delta, we've heard from Nike, we've heard from Boeing, and the list goes on and on. And at the end of the day, if we don't get this coronavirus behind us, we're only going to expect more of this. And so what does that mean? That means that we are also in the final 2 weeks right now. The drum roll is going on really, really loud because we are waiting to hear what the Congress is going to do as it pertains to this big stimulus funding that we desperately need. Americans need federal relief, and what is it that we're going to expect? In fact, that $600 stimulus federal relief payment to those who are unemployed expires at the end of July. But even bigger than that, we need to come to a resolution. We need to know what we're getting, what the direct relief is going to look like, because come August, Congress, our American Congress is actually, they're not going to be in Washington anymore. They're supposed to be on break for a month. So we definitely need to get that answer sooner rather than later. So that way Americans know what to expect, what sort of funding is going to be there for them for unemployment, as well as the big discussion points for this round is obviously education, schools. How are schools going to reopen? What kind of monies are schools going to get to be able to allow that to happen? Number two is healthcare. Big concern there. We're talking about needing more PPE, more support for our first line employees and workers, and really some financial support for our medical teams out there. And number three is obviously jobs, which at the end of the day, we know, we've talked about this several times. It's not like Americans don't want to get back to work. They just can't get back to work. And so what is that federal relief going to do for them? So these are the three very, very important categories that we are shuffling and talking about rapidly. In addition, we're talking about rent and we're talking about mortgages because Americans need to be able to stay at home. We definitely don't want to transition more Americans to a situation where they lose their homes. That can't be the case. So we're looking for these areas. Now, Nancy Pelosi has said that this package is going to be a minimum of $1.3 trillion. In fact, she's even saying that that's not enough. And if you remember just a few weeks ago, I mean, it feels like a few months ago, just a few weeks ago, in fact, we heard many people in Congress say, no, there's not even going to be another package. This is it. Well, obviously that didn't happen. Obviously there was another package. I predicted it. The question is what this package is going to look like. How are we going to get those funds to Americans' pockets in the most efficient manner? I certainly have some ideas. I think what we need to do is be very, very strategic, but also be very smart and understand that a lot of people need help. And the whole talk about if you let me make under $40,000 a year, you'll get support. I think that is absolutely the wrong direction because there's so many Americans who had income that is in excess of $40,000. Who are not working right now, who are struggling, who are worried about their mortgage, worried about rent, worried about how they're going to maintain their job and still get their kids through school, or if it's distance learning, how that's going to impact their profession and their work. And also companies are worried if their employees are distracted, how that's also going to impact their bottom line. So it's really there's no real great solution. It is in many ways a circle that keeps on evolving and not in a good way. So we obviously know that we need to get this vaccine sooner rather than later. But most importantly, we need to feel better that things are getting back to normal so we can get out there, be productive again, get our kids back in school, travel again, and everything in between. So a lot of questions. We're going to be paying attention to this very, very carefully the next 2 weeks. So definitely stick very close to me, because make sure that you tune in, and these are going to be developments that you're going to want to discuss, and we're going to discuss them together. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you doing so. Now, on another note, if you have time, I would love to invite you later today. I will be on Facebook on CNBC's page. It's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific here on the West Coast. If you're joining us from the East Coast, that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern, joining with Sharon Epperson and several CNBC Council financial advisor members like myself. We're going to take your questions and answer them and really get to the heart and soul of the questions that Americans really want to know. We're talking 401k, we're talking retirement, we're talking about balancing children and parents. We're talking about how we're going to make things right for you. So bring your questions. It's going to be very, very casual, very relaxed. And I think you're really going to enjoy the discussion and some great people involved. So I feel very grateful to be with them. It'll be today on Facebook. On the CNBC Facebook page, it'll be 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on East Coast. And with that, I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Join me again for a live stream. Tomorrow will be at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern once again. Now, sometimes we come a little earlier and a little later, but, definitely join in during that time. And then that way we can get the discussion rolling again. And hopefully we'll have more information on the stimulus package round 2. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you very soon. Take care.